Elias, and an excellent job from Kevin Pangos on that baseline release. Understands the only spot that Elias is going to be able to see him is deep in that far corner. And you see that trust developing between the young freshman and now Elias, a junior. Elias knows that he's going to be in the right spot, looked for him. An excellent two-man play. And again, Elias not forcing the action against that double, that triple team from Air Force. Air Force is going to do everything they can to frustrate him offensively. If he can get his teammates going, that's still just as effective as him getting himself going.
4 on the shot clock. Brookheis has it taken away. And a foul called here on Chris Carter. His first, team second. And Marquise Carter checking into the game for Gonzaga as Gary Bell goes to the bench.
Yeah, Michael Lyons out of the ball game for Air Force. And you see it, Greg. You asked, how is Air Force going to respond if he's unable to come back into the ball game? And really, they don't have a primary ball handler now. He's the only guy who can create his own shot outside of the offense. And they're having a tough time knocking shots down. Outside of that 4-point play from Fitzgerald, they've really struggled to make shots.
Yet they trail by just 4.
That's true. 15-11. It's a little early.
Here's Harris inside, shot away too hard. Gonzaga basketball. Falcons not happy with that call. 11:44 to play first half. Gonzaga leading it by 4. And welcome back. 11:44 to play first half. Gonzaga with a 4-point lead on Air Force. Kevin Pangos off to another great start, especially shooting the ball for Gonzaga.
3 of 4 from behind the arc. You see there, creates his own shot, but does a nice job of working off those post feeds. Elias finds him twice. This is really the most impressive one. In traffic, Elias has the wherewithal to find Kevin deep in that corner. And now Kevin with Butler in here in the first half. Now 6 of 11 from the 3-point line. Really starting to get things going. And you knew he would. A guy who's that good a shooter isn't going to struggle for a prolonged period of time. And what we love about him is he continues to keep that confidence. Not a guy who's going to lose that confidence over a few missed shots. And the best players do that. Best players are next play guys. Hey, I miss a shot, I make a shot. It's time to move on to the next play. And I think he's got that.
Harris and Sacre have all 4 assists for Gonzaga. So that inside-out game really getting it done for him right now.
You're going to force Air Force to rethink their defensive strategy. It can continue to be this effective from the 3-point line as you see a foul away from the ball.
Foul here on Harris, but I'm not sure about that call. It looked like to me that D. Lavelle Earls ran right into Elias. He had no choice but to take the shot from him. I don't know if we have another look at it.
Let's take a look here. A little back screen, and that's a tough call. He's trying to fight around.
Come on, right?
Yeah, but you can't impede your defender, your man that you're guarding as he cuts through. And right there, Elias did it. I think you probably could have called the moving screen on the back screen, but yeah, I'm going to agree to disagree with you. I thought that was the right call from the official.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
He bumped him away from the basketball, and they've really tried to cut that down here the last few years.
There's a deep shot. Fitzgerald. Really, he's got 7 straight now for the Air Force, and it's a 1-point game.
Really the one bright spot for Air Force. 9 points, 3 of 3, 2 of 2 from the 3-point line. If he can step up, the second leading scorer 10 a game, he's going to have to look to be more aggressive with Lyons out of the ball game.
Pangos. He's fouled down on the baseline by Taylor Brockheis. Brockheis picks up his first. 3rd team foul. So back on that foul on Harris.
Yes, sir.
Is that something consistently that we're going to see every game, or is that going to depend on who's officiating, what league?
Yeah.
I mean, there just didn't seem to be a lot of contact to me.
No, you could say, all those factors for just about every part of the game. Big Ten's a different type of basketball than say the ACC or Big 12. Has a lot to do with the tradition of a conference, the officials that are doing that, and that's a really 50-50 call for an official. I would not have minded that call if I'm few, outside of the fact that that's Elias' second foul. So you might have to see him sit here the rest of this first half. But
I don't know, it just seemed like it was a play for Elias. It was hard for him to get out of the way. He couldn't get any skinnier. Here's Earls. He left that shot short. Pangos now with it. Here's Carter driving to the rim, and he's stripped and fouled by number 5, Mike Fitzgerald. So Fitzgerald picks up his first, team's fourth.
And you see Marquise. We've talked about it quite a bit to start this season, how big he was last year. Ended up being newcomer of the year in the WCC, really only playing half of the conference schedule when you take into account the second half of the regular season and then the tournament. But he struggled here with his shot this year, 14 of 41, only 1 of 12 from the three-point line. But what he's done well offensively is I think he's realized he struggled with the jump shot. He's starting to take the ball to the rim. He does a nice job getting himself to the free throw line, and he's still having an impact on the defensive end. Leads his team with nearly 1.5 steals per game.
Successful trip to the line. Boy, I tell you what, DeLaVelle Earls at 6'5". He was in there trying to post up against Sacre at 7 feet.
And you might ask, well, they're going with the smaller lineup. They list Earl as a power forward. And that's just, that's always been an issue for the Air Force Academy. They just have trouble finding size.
Stockton picks it up. Carter's stripped away. And Air Force turns it right back over.
Good defensive effort from both ball clubs. GU comes up with the turnover. Air Force doesn't quit on the play, gets back and is able to stop the easy layup from Carter. And that's something you're going to see consistently from Air Force. They're going to play hard. They have to love the fact they're only down 3 here with a little over 10 minutes, particularly with Lions out of the ball game. But this is a ball club. They're disciplined on both ends. They're going to continue to play hard. If you're GU, you can't relax.
Gonzaga doing a great job not turning the ball over the last 3 games after averaging almost 18 a game in the first 3. Only 8.5 over the last 3 games.
I think guys are making simple plays, particularly the post players. Post players have been turnover prone this season. The last 2 games, look at Elias, or pardon me, last 3 games, both Elias and Sam, only 2 turnovers. Both those kids were averaging over a turnover and a half the first 7 games of the year. So both those kids have done a nice job of valuing the basketball, and as a result, the entire ball club has been better with the basketball.
Gonzaga now with 4 turnovers, 7 on the shot clock. Stewart's shot for 3 is good.
There's that constant action. You saw a ball screen, a back screen. You have to constantly be communicating defensively. It's important on that end of the floor that you talk to one another, because it's easy to get lost in that constant motion of the Princeton offense. And so far tonight, Air Force has done an excellent job of getting the shots they want, particularly from behind the three-point line.
And Air Force shooting 62%. And what equalizes size in this game?
The three-point line.
It certainly does. And Air Force doing a fine job shooting the basketball. 3 of 5 from behind the arc. 5 of 8 overall. 62%. Gonzaga shooting at just 42%. We're tied at 17.
Look at it. Air Force 4 less shots here in the first half and still tied up. It's really been the offensive rebounds that we talked about at the top that have allowed GU to get those extra possessions. But largely, Air Force has to be pleased with where they're at. Defensively, they've been solid, and offensively, very, very patient.
And again, the score is really working in their favor because of the Princeton offense. It minimizes possessions, low scoring. You keep it close, you got a shot. Stockton for 3 is off. Bell tipped it out. Air Force basketball.
Yeah, they'd love to see this game in the 50s, mid-60s. Obviously, GU love to get this over 80, but when you play this pace, you cut the amount of possessions for the opposition, and they've done that all year. I mean, really, you look at their season, 6-2 on the year, but they've been in every game. They lost in overtime at Colorado, Colorado at home, and they lost at Drake by 2. So while their schedule isn't as impressive as GU's, they've either won or been competitive in every one of their ball games.
It's just the state of the game today. Division I college basketball. There's parity. Anybody can show up anywhere and win.
A lot more players out there for the number of programs that are available. And
Bell there to defend that backdoor cut by Stewart. Goes out of bounds, and it remains with the Falcons 26 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, you just look at the WCC as the talent level, and GU's been a large reason for that. Teams and programs have realized that they need to up the ante, both financially and commitment as far as facilities and all that. But the talent level has really improved. We'll get into that next week when we open up with Portland. But this league much better top to bottom than when I was here, and I think really the history of the league. And there's just a lot more players out there, and as you see the turnover.
Yeah, Bell with that great post defense, denying the pass, and then drawing the foul.
Well, that's something that he's really excelled at. I think you compare him, both he and Kevin, it's easy, and we should compare those guys to some of the better guards that have come through this program, because I think both those kids have a chance to be special. But you look at Gary, the best perimeter defender I've seen as a freshman guard was Stephen Gray. And if you remember, he broke his hand leading into the year, so all he could do in the practice for 6 weeks was guard.
There's a turnover.
And so he became a good defender, and I think Gary's right there with him. Not as big, maybe not quite as good an athlete, but he's disciplined, competes on that end of the floor, and we've seen it with his numbers, often guarding the best player for the opposition for stretches of a ball game.
I don't know if you noticed that, but Fletcher just got away with a shove. As Bell went up to catch that ball, Fletcher shoved him out of bounds. Here's Fitzgerald under the basket. Williams to Brookhuis. That's Ryan Spangler, number 15, guarding for GU. Here's Stewart. Left hand, right by Sacre, and the Falcons with a 2-point lead.
Tough matchup for Rob. If he's not guarding Brookhuis, he's going to have to guard a guy who's going to roam out there on the 3-point line. And you saw right there, Stewart just able to take him off the dribble just a little too quick.
Gonzaga has not scored in better than 5 minutes and 20 seconds now.
A little 2-3 zone from Air Force. Let's see how Gonzaga adjusts.
Brookhuis out on Stockton. Now Stewart there. Skip past Carter. Drives the baseline. Shot blocked by Williams. This Air Force team, well coached. They play great defense. They shoot the ball well. And they're very disciplined on that offensive end.
This is a system they've been running now for nearly 10 years. I mean, obviously, I grew up in Colorado. They were running that Princeton offense when I graduated. So it's part of the program. Guys come in, they learn it quick, and you can see it. Very, very disciplined.
And Gary Bell just picked up his second personal foul. The Falcons with a 2-point lead in Spokane. Break it down for us, Richard Fox.
Let's see if I can do Air Force. All 5 guys above the free throw line. Let's roll it. You see the first screen right here. It's going to force David to help Sam as that cut comes through. Right through here. David has to help. You see the screen right here on Rob. If we roll it on the down screen, David's got to help again. Rob gets confused. Give up the wide open 3 at the top of the key. That's the perfect example of what the Princeton offense does. Same guy sets 2 different screens and ends up with the open look. That's why it's so important to communicate defensively if you're GU. Stay disciplined and look to switch a lot of those screens. Given the lack of size for Air Force, you can switch a lot of those screens.
So the Air Force with a 2-point lead in the basketball now. Brookhuis couldn't handle that pass. Gonzaga basketball. So we just got an update on the injured Michael Lyons for Air Force. He was taken for x-rays. So nothing definitive right now, but they are looking for something.
You hate to hear that.
Last 8 possessions for Gonzaga. 3 turnovers, 0 for 4 shooting, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, and boy did they need that bucket. Here's Brookhuis. Heck of a catch there. Fans wanted a travel call. Finally they make some noise, but they don't get the call.
It is quiet here tonight. See Rob having to guard Stewart here on the perimeter. That's a tough matchup for him. You look at Stewart, he can step out to 3. And
Stewart to the baseline. Spangler there to close off the lane. There's Williams inside. Mike Hart is there. And Mark Fee wanted to travel that time. Stewart, as you heard the shot clock go off. Sacre the rebound.
That's a solid defensive possession for GU. Deep into the clock.
Pangos. Number 4 and counting.
4 of 5, and once again we see David and Kevin hook up. David brings the ball up, and Kevin does an excellent job filling that left wing and just spotting up, trusting that David's going to get him the ball. And you see it right here, a little ball fake, draws the defense. And you got to do a better job closing out on Kevin Pangos. Kevin Pangos now 4 of 5 from beyond the arc, 12 points. Putting in some work.
Right now, Air Force, they want to guard against these big explosive plays because the crowd is down and the Falcons want to keep it right there because they know this home team is going to feed off that.
Yeah, exactly. You'd rather not give up those big plays. And You know, Air Force is going to be, and rightly so focused on protecting that painted area, given the big size disadvantage that they have versus GU, that I think coming into tonight, they thought to themselves, hey, we can live with giving up some of